All right, it's sending data to Twitch and YouTube.
Let's channel.
All right, we are live on YouTube.
Cool.
All right, you guys want to talk? I'll listen to us real quick on YouTube and see if it sounds better.
All right, cool.
That's good.
So we're back now. The folks are listening to us then. Cool. So hey everyone, hi again. Sorry about all these technical issues that we're working through. We are kind of dealing with new hardware, new software, and just kind of making sure everything works. So thank you for bearing with us. After this, we're going to re-upload the show, not live, but kind of complete. So if you want to bear with us, if you want to wait and listen to it complete then, or if you want to bear with us live, we might have to start and stop a few more times. So yeah, I got Kevin in the command center is working his hardest to get us up and running again.
It's like everything is just falling apart so quickly. I got Brandon's video going big and small. He keeps freezing into a certain smile image. It keeps going up. Yours is going up and down.
Still freezing?
I don't, just so many things going wrong. I can't hold it together. And the audio is all bubbly again. I need something more intense to drink than Coke.
Well, we appreciate it. You're doing a great job. Yeah, so to the folks listening, bear with us. We're working on it. We'll get there. We'll talk about the Nintendos and the Microsofts and the Sonys.
And the Destinies.
And the Destinies and our giveaway that we'll do. So yeah, we're still going to do a giveaway. It's coming. So Kevin, what's the game plan? What do we do next?
Let's think, team.
We'll get you a beer.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
Get you a thinking beer.
I just gotta, if we can get it to stay at least a little bit. It's like I fix one thing and then everything else falls apart. I mean,
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. This is all happening live.
World.
Everybody is watching us fall apart and burn all at once.
Everyone. We got millions of viewers right now.
All those millions of viewers, they're all just seeing us totally fail for tonight.
Oh no, we have a 100% like to dislike rate. We have double the amount of likes than we do dislikes right now. So whatever we're doing is working. So.
Oh man.
So, how about we keep it casual for a few minutes? Let's see what Kevin goes. Brandon, what do you typically play?
I'm really into MMOs. I played a bunch of World of Warcraft. Started with Tibia back when I was like 8 years old. Yeah, that's I'm aging myself on that one. I've tried everything like Final Fantasy, ESO. Hop in and out of all those, but lately Kevin turned me on to the Switch, and nice. I've been just grinding out Pokemon Shield.
Oh yeah,
it's just a blast. I'm completely obsessed with it at this point.
Nice.
I haven't played a modern Pokemon game in Pokemon since Pokemon Silver.
You know, the weird thing is it's making me want to like fire up my old Game Boy and go play Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver.
Yeah, man, everyone says that. Like everyone who says like they haven't played a Pokemon game since like the olden days and then plays it on the Switch now, they're like, man, I want to go back and play like Moon and Sun and X and Y and all the others.
Yeah. I actually just it's on its way. It hasn't shown up yet, but I after playing a bit of I was playing Sword, I was like, I am craving to play like the old 8-bit Game Boy games. And
so much.
So I bought Pokemon Gold. It took me a while to find a copy that I wanted because a lot of the older Game Boy Color ones games, like the batteries tend to die and you can't save your game. And so I found a guy who was selling on eBay a copy that he had opened up and soldered a new battery in, but it came complete with like the box and the manuals and everything, so it's a legit copy. And so I bought it. It hasn't shown up yet, but yeah, I'm going to dive back into Pokemon Gold, just relive that whole generation. But yeah, like the Switch is like Pokemon's a great place to start on the Switch, but there's tons of games on the Switch now. Like it's a deep platform for anything. Really.
Honestly, I think like even though I haven't played it in ages, Silver is by far one of my like favorite games ever. It's to me, it's I know it hasn't gotten into like Crystal and Ruby and Sapphire and all of them, but God, Silver is was just a fun game start to finish.
Mhm.
I think it was the cap. I think it was the cap for me. It got to 300 Pokemon. You know, I think that was all my brain could absorb as like a 12-year-old, and or maybe what? No, Silver came out, yeah, about 12, 13. You know, 2000 would
Yeah.
be 9 or 10. Holy damn! Now I'm dating myself. So I loved Silver. You know, I feel like Silver to me was a really great sequel.
Yes.
You know, and I don't feel like it could. It's the Mass Effect 2 of Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda. That's how I feel about my like want to play the other Pokemon games. I'm like, yeah, they're good, I bet, but like Mass Effect 2 is where it's at. You know.
So you talk about there being too many Pokemon now. So I have my tip and trick. So I guess this would be like my tip of the episode. Not that we do that every show, but I thought this would be funny. Every time there's a new generation of Pokemon games, I make sure that my team is exclusively new Pokemon. And so that's how I kind of get to know them a little bit more. So like, 'cause if it was up to me, I'd always have like, all right, I always have a Nidoking. I always have like a Rhydon. I always have a Ampharos. Like that would be my team. Like I would build up from there. But like when I played Sword and Shield, I'm like, all right, I am making my team exclusively Sword and Shield Pokemon, X and Y, exclusively
smart,
X and Y
actually.
Pokemon. Well, it's just that's how I kind of force my brain to be like, hey, these are new Pokemon. This is their game type thing. So it works for me. It might not work for everyone, but I mean, if you have your favorites, by all means, play with your favorites. Like that's
No, I agree with that. It's nice to get a change of pace. Like for example, I'm replaying Dark Souls 3 right now.
Mhm.
Mainly because Dark Souls 1, as good as it is still even the remaster is still a 2011 game, and I'm like, compared over and over. But I'm replaying Dark Souls 3 right now, and I usually roll a strong pyromancer like build. It's essentially like a huge glass cannon. You don't take any hits, and if you do, you're dead. But if you hit everything around you, you're unstoppable. So it's kind of my favorite build to go as. But my friend who is stuck on a boss in Dark Souls 3 is hugely resistant to magic. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna go with a magic build for once. I'm gonna go with like a barbarian-esque motif and just swing a big ass sword at things, you know? And I'm kind of enjoying a different playstyle with a different attitude because it feels like I'm playing the same game, just slightly different.
Yeah, I feel that way with Pokemon too. Like it's building those new teams. Like especially like some generations. Like I'm thinking back to like the Sun and Moon generation. They weren't as geared, I found, towards just like raw offense. They were really like technical Pokemon. And as someone who grew up not really knowing how to play Pokemon competitively, that forced me to change the way I played the game. And then like you get to see it from the other the other angles and the other way to like kind of see it. So like I know what you mean with Dark Souls. It's like you're trying new things. And that actually transitions nicely into my gaming highlight of the week if we're good to move on to that, because it's a nice transition. I'm not gonna lie. So I've been playing tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of Super Smash Brothers Ultimate lately. Like this past week I put maybe I think 40 hours into it, which is stupid for me because I don't like. I'll give to the internet. The secret of working for a video game website is you very rarely get to sit down and play video games you want to play. You kind of just have
true.
Yeah, you just kind of you roll with what's in front of you and you cover what's relevant. Smash, and where this kind of goes into that is every new Smash Bros. Game, I don't do this on purpose, but I end up gravitating towards a different main character. And so in Smash 4, Toon Link was my main character, and then like if I let's say I went on a losing streak with Toon Link, I'd switch over to like Shulk or Marth or Lucina, and what they all have in common is they're sword fighters, every single one of them. And so I was going into Ultimate when it came out a couple years ago. I fully expected to be like, yeah, I'm going to pick up Toon Link and Shulk and Lucina and all those guys and just roll with it. And I don't want to say mastered because like I'm not that good, but I have put in an insane amount of time as Inkling. Like this whole week I put 40 hours into Inkling alone, and I'm very close to getting to the point of getting into Elite Smash, which is the top 5 percentile with that character. I'm like 2 or 3 wins away. I keep like every time I win one, I lose 2 right now, so I'm kind of like stepping away from the game just to like build that confidence up again to go back out there. But yeah, that's my gaming highlight. Like, I have played tons of Smash Brothers. Been watching tons of tutorials. I'm like, hey, I'm playing as Inkling. How do I edge guard? How do I do spacing? How do I do all these like really like more advanced techniques that I never really bothered to learn? And I'm having tons of fun with it. So I know it's an older game. It came out a couple of years ago, but like I am like fully rejuvenated into Smash Bros. Right now.
Smash, even though it's a game that came out years ago, it does not feel stale. I don't get that game, man.
I can't believe there's still 5 characters left to come out.
Whoa.
Like I still can't believe like the game is not even like there's still 5 characters that might come out and be, or that not might come out, but will come out and might be really interesting to play as.
This game is just so good.
It is insane. It is it's a ton of fun. Like, and I really like Min Min too, like the latest DLC character. And like this, yeah, it's funny because I did this the day she came out. I did a live stream where I played as Min Min, and I was like, oh, like this is not really my type of character. I'm not really feeling it. Then I went back and I like casually played as Min Min a bunch, and I had tons of fun. And I was like winning matches with her, and like she's very much like if someone knows how to counter Min Min and play against her, you're screwed. She's very much a stay the heck away from me type character, and if someone gets into your face and it's like, this is a loss, I don't have a lot of ways to like counter that. But yeah, like going back and forth between Inkling and Min Min has been really, really fun. And I still like sword fighters. Like I can jump into playing as Shulk and Lucina and like have fun and do okay. But whereas in Smash 4, I was like obsessed with the sword fighters and wouldn't even look at the other characters. Now I've got like Min Min, which is punches, and which is a lot of like. Inkling is very much a shield try to get your as much as possible, and if not, she's going to throw bombs at you from across the level, which is really big for Smash bombs. I think they're really like
They're fairly unique.
They're really unique. They have a really cool trajectory, and you can learn to control it. And I'm starting to get the hang of edge guarding with her. So like, if someone's trying to recover, you just start lobbing bombs off the stage, and you might just screw them over. So I see in chat, Steve is asking, how's the lag? It's better. Not gonna lie, it used to be really bad. Like maybe like a year ago, I used to not be able to finish a few matches without getting into like this really hardcore lag in Smash Ultimate. Now, like it's still there, and there's a few games like if I would say 1 in 10 is unplayably laggy, and the rest are fine. The lag thing with Inkling is particularly annoying because her moves are really fast, and you're always like you're going up to someone, you're punching, you're doing aerials, you're trying to do very precise moves with her. And so I say her because the costume I pick is her purple outfit. I don't just pointing that out. So if the match is particularly laggy, I might have a really hard time with her because it's like I'm not landing those really precise moves. There's one character that I honestly cannot beat. I've won maybe 1 out of 10. No, Ganondorf.
What?
I can't beat like high good level Ganondorf players. I'm screwed. I can't beat them.
Man, I have seen, because I play Ganondorf.
Yeah.
And I have like watched some people's like tips and tricks on Ganondorf, and I'm like, I don't even know what button that is. I'm like, what are you doing right now? Like, Ganondorf is crazy.
Yeah, he's really good at spacing. So he's really good at being in the right spot where you can't counter, but he can hit you. So they really I really like what they did with Ganondorf in this game. Like they gave him, he finally uses his sword. He's not just a Captain Falcon clone. Like he actually has like some uniqueness.
Yeah.
But he's I have a really hard time against Ganondorf players. So I'm kind of building that up. I'm watching like the Ganondorf tutorials and being like, all right, here's what they're doing. How do I counter that with Inkling? And Inkling has a bit of an issue where she doesn't have a lot of kill moves. A lot of her moves are she can rack up the damage, but when it comes time, like when she's got, like let's say a Ganondorf at 150%, landing that kill shot is really, really hard. So it's like you got to be good. And like her really, like the one move that can really confirm a kill is her, if she rolls into you, buries you, and then hits you with a smash attack. But that basically you have to land 2 moves with her instead of just 1. Like her back air is pretty good if you get someone off the stage, and her up air can sometimes kill, but it's not very strong. So I'm learning a lot, but yeah, I'm really excited that I'm getting close to getting into Elite Smash. And it's funny because once I get there, I think I'm going to stop playing so I can stay there. I don't want to drop back out of it. But yeah, that's my gaming highlight. I was like, I've been excited about that all week. I was like, oh my god, like it's coming together. I'm learning this game.
You're finally understanding that high tier mechanics.
Yeah, it's not just like Smash is fun. I'll play Smash for fun anytime. And if like me and Jacob, my brother, we used to do like back in the day, like, all right, we're going to do a tournament and we're going to do. I start at the top of the roster, like top left. You start in the bottom right, and we just do every character.
That's smart.
Yeah, it was fun. Like it was just like that was like the dumbest way to play, but it was like, yeah, we're like, oh crap! Now next game I'm Luigi. I don't like playing as Luigi, and he loves playing as Luigi. So it's kind of like that funny like. Anyway, that's how I played Smash Bros. Anyway, I just wanted to highlight that was my gaming highlight. Absolutely having tons of fun with Smash Bros. I want to stream it more. I don't know if I'll stream matches like at the high level because I'm already like sweating or anything. But like when new characters come out, or maybe I'm just playing for fun, I want to start streaming that more because I'm just having tons of fun with it. And it's a fun streaming game too, and it's easy to get people to hop into. So I definitely want to do more of that.
Heck yeah. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Brandon, you said you've been playing some Elder Scrolls. Is that correct? Or you played at least?
I hopped in. Well, I got it on launch, and then I hopped back in.
ESO?
March.
Yes.
Yeah. Right when I started working from home for a bit. It was fun. It was cool. I really liked how they changed it since launch. They made it so like you can level everywhere, right? Just pick the location you want to play in, experience the story there, whether you're level 5 or level 25, doesn't really matter. So that was
I'm equally just getting into what's it called? Into Elder Scrolls Online right now. And I'm playing with a bunch of my friends. So it's huge. I know there's an easy joke there, but my God, it's so big. I don't understand how large that map is. I started on the in the Morrowind map, and it's like I'm looking at the Morrowind map. I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty much Morrowind, and it's just the map. And then I realize I can zoom out of the screen in the map, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess this is a small island with a vast continent next to it. Great. And then I zoom out even more. I'm like, oh God, there's 3 continents. And I think a 4th one. And I'm like, what is all of this? I don't even know where to go. I don't even know where to explore. It's so it's so big.
Expansive, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Elder
expensive.
Scrolls for you, though, right? Like, I think I haven't been paying attention to this stuff in a long time, but for a long time, at least, Daggerfall was one of the biggest games in existence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It
it
was all
was.
procedurally generated. It was huge.
That's what. It's just I don't know, man. Like I feel I could play an entire game's worth just in the Morrowind area of Elder Scrolls without even having to venture into like Cyrodiil or into the main continents. It's nuts. And I feel like there's just that game it feels so expansive and large.
Mhm.
You know, it's the Red Dead feeling when there's just so much you don't even know where to go that it's
Right.
kind of like, where am I going? You know?
And it's fun to play with a group, but the one problem I had at launch was it was really difficult to play if you didn't have a group of friends. Where now you
It
can
was.
kind of hop in, play by yourself. You don't feel underpowered. You can actually do some things alone.
Yeah. There's quite an amount of solo plays with Elder Scrolls right now, just because I know I've been playing like in between when my friends come on and stuff, so that's been a good time.
Right, Kevin, are you good to talk about your game, or are you still pulling wires and making
Well,
creating new
I
streaming
think we're seeing
services?
sparks
I'm
and
just trying to
you
see
know.
what makes it better and what's making it worse. I got the video to stay. I fixed everyone's video at least, so at least it looks nice. But everything
thank
else is pretty rough. So yeah, I think if you're watching live, it's gonna sound like shit. So sorry, but the recording should be okay.
Yep.
So yeah,
Kevin's gaming highlight of the week is a streaming simulator.
that's basically what's going on right now. It's like OBS and OBS Streamlabs, like the two like open source stuff you can use for streaming, and we have been using OBS for the last 4 or 5 months. We've been doing this, so we wanted to switch to OBS. I don't know if we had an episode that was kind of like this about 2 months ago when I tried to switch to Streamlabs OBS, and I was all excited, going, "This is the future. We're going to
remember.
use it." Well, it didn't look like they supported this thing called NDI, which is what we use to pull our call from Skype into here. We have separate windows for all of us instead of one just big weird Skype call. So after pulling everyone's audio in on the same track and then pulling everyone's video in separate tracks, everything works except for what you guys are hearing live right now is when anyone other than me talks, it does not sound good.
No, it did not.
So that's kind of how it's going. But hopefully by next week I'll get that figured out. If you listen on the podcast, if you go to Stitcher or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere you get podcasts, you can listen to us, though, and we will not have that noise. I guarantee
Yeah, right.
that. Anyways, outside of playing with streaming software, I have played a lot of random things. I have tried to clean the backlog up, getting ready for all the crazy games that are going to be coming out pretty quick. So
much. Cyberpunk.
I'm trying to think of what. Starting back from like a week, not going through stuff, but the biggest game I spent the most time with was Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is a game that I somehow
You
missed.
played
Interesting.
Rogue?
Okay.
Yes, this is interesting. I know. At the beginning of
Okay.
quarantine, I had tried to finish up Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I'm ready for Unity. I'm like sitting here about to play. And I played the first 15 minutes of Unity. And I go, you know what? I think there's a game that I'm missing. And I'm looking at the timeline of all the games. And it's like, oh, yeah, Assassin's Creed Rogue came out right around the same time as Unity, but takes place technically right before it.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you know, okay. So I played the first 15 minutes of Unity. And it takes place in France. And there's a guy that gets assassinated, and you're playing as a child, and you just kind of watch this events unfold, right? So then I stopped right there after this guy gets killed. I had no idea what's going on. I go back, play Rogue, which kind of plays with characters from Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and some from the Freedom Cry, I think is the other one. And there's another one that's like a spin-off. There's two really small spin-offs that are basically DLC, but I think one of them is a full-blown game. So all those characters are involved in Assassin's Creed Rogue, and the whole point of this one is you are a assassin that turns Templar, and you are trying to take down these assassins that are doing something that you do not agree with, right? So long story short, play the whole game. I finished it today, actually, And the
Nice.
very last mission in Rogue is the very first mission in Unity, but you're playing as the guy that kills the guy in Unity, and it blew my mind. It was so interesting because I was like, okay, I'm all of a sudden at the end of Rogue, you have a memory, you get your animus, and you're walking with Benjamin Franklin, and you're in France, and he's going to be giving a seminar on some type of technology or whatever he's working on, and you're like, all right, I got something to take care of. So you go into this building, and I'm like, this kind of looks familiar. And all of a sudden, I see the little kids the one little boy that I was playing as in the 15 minutes of Unity, and I'm like, oh, that's me when I talked to that girl in the Unity next, and then I walk in and there's my target and I kill the guy, and that's the little kid's father. So the guy that killed him was me, the Templar. So then I started back into Unity today for about another half hour or so, and it just kind of the continuity between these games just got me sucked in, and I'm just so into Assassin's Creed right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I went and bought.
Nice.
So the Uplay event happened. Nothing really fun to discuss in it, other than the fact that the Uplay store has a bunch of shit on sale right now. So I picked up Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I picked up some DLC for Unity. I picked up the season pass for Syndicate. I picked up the season pass for what's the next one? Origins. And I have not got the season pass for Odyssey yet. Oh, wait, nope. Yep, I did. I totally forgot. I did yesterday. I'm back and forth. I found a gift card I ended up using that had some, it was like a Visa gift card, so I used it on that. So I got that too, and that came with, so first off, those were all on sale, like ridiculously cheap, so I felt pretty good about that. And Assassin's Creed 3, I already owned it, but I owned the original, and they made a remaster of it, but it was $20. Assassin's Creed 3 is my favorite one I played so far.
Really?
Yeah, I know people hate that one, but I really liked it. It was cool.
No judge.
I liked they got to play as a Native American guy. I thought he was badass. I really liked him.
Yeah.
The boat building too.
Oh yeah, that was
3
fun.
for me. 3 for me was like a history lesson, and like I'm a big history nerd, so I like that. But I was also like, there were points where I'm like, can I do something? Can I play?
It is. It does start off a lot slower, but I think because, growing up, and I don't know how much American history you guys all get in Canada, but that I knew most of what was happening in the events that were unfolding. Like that was stuff I've always learned about, and to like play around those events and people that I knew was kind of interesting. The last thing I'll say about Assassin's Creed anything is on the Uplay store. If you check it out, they have the season pass for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's for $16, and for the season pass you get like I think both big packs of DLC, which are huge, and they give you 2 free games with it. One of them being Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, which by itself is $20 on the store. But if you buy the season pass, you get Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered plus another game, which I think is Assassin's Creed Liberation, I think is the right one, plus all the DLC.
That's the...
But I was like, okay, this is a loophole here, so I pretty much bought it so I can get the remastered version of 3. So now I have the regular version of 3 for PC and the remastered. So yeah, it's been a very Assassin's Creed-filled time lately in my life. I wore my Assassin's Creed hat yesterday, too, because I was really feeling it. So it was pretty cool.
I guess you're hyped for Valhalla, which now releases on November 10th.
Well, okay, I am, but I'm also not, because I've been committed to playing these in order. Back in like 2013, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start from the very beginning and work my way up. So I started with 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, then I got to 3, and then Black Flag. So I beat Rogue.
And they just get bigger and bigger, right?
So
like,
as excited as I am for the new one, I'm not, because I have so many other games. I have so many games to play before I get to that in my challenge, but I am excited because it does look good.
Yeah.
And these games are just massive. Like Ubisoft, they kill you. They just have you playing hours and hours of like skin this animal and find this person and do this, and then they get you on the freaking microtransactions, because I'm Unity. I'm like, okay, well, everything's on sale right now. If I'm gonna get it, it's only on sale for the next few days. I better pick it up now. And it's like, oh, like time speeds or something. It's like, oh, you want to unlock everything in your map? It's 85 cents, and then I'm like, well, it's only 85 cents. Like, I'm like, you got me again. You got me. How do you keep getting me? So
is that okay? Legit though, is that on the levels of game breaking?
I don't know.
When you have to pay for those kind of unlocks.
But okay, you got Zahi. Hear me out. I'm trying to just finish these games as fast as I can right now because I want to get to the next one.
It.
If I was on the final installment of the game, like if I was playing, the new one Valhalla right now, I probably wouldn't care. But because I'm just trying to race to get there because I'm excited to play.
Yeah,
game,
that's fair.
I get what you mean.
It's like right now, like it's years old. This isn't the best. Like, I don't know, but then at the same time, like playing through Rogue, I got really addicted to it, and the game ended, and I started playing it again. I'm like, the credits rolled already, and I'm like, I don't want to stop playing. Like, I really liked it.
How did you enjoy Rogue
It's
compared to the others? Because I heard Rogue it's amazing.
I want to say I liked Rogue more than any other one except for 3 so far.
Interesting.
I really liked it a lot. Everyone I keep talking to, I keep telling them, like, it's $6.60 on the Uplay store right now. Go pick this game up and play it. It's been remastered, so on PC you get the up-res version of it. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It plays really well, and like there's so much to do. Like the ship combat is the same thing from Black Flag, but there's a couple new things on it that Black Flag didn't have, because I just finished Black Flag like 2 months ago. So yeah, so Assassin's Creed has been mostly what I'm playing. That, Hearthstone, and I just finished. What was I just playing? I keep jumping from game to game to game because I'm just like, I gotta beat all these things before this new shit comes out, or I'm gonna have like no time to play it. Oh, I'm playing Final Fantasy 12 still. That's the big game. I didn't finish it, so I've been playing through that slow. That's my like Switch game I play when I'm like getting ready for bed. I play a little Switch, you know. But yeah,
Cool.
So I think, did we all go already, or did we miss someone? Because I was kind of
Indeed.
okay. So I'm gonna
Yep.
help transition a little bit to Alex into your next thing, but I'm gonna spit out one little part about the new graphics cards that's coming in. I'm being told I'm quiet.
Mhm.
I'll be louder. You turn me up. That's the one thing I can help today. Is my sound.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we're gonna jump into talking about all the Xbox stuff coming out, but I think it's also super important to talk about the new graphics cards that are coming out, because Nvidia is sneaking in here trying to take some of the fun from everybody, because they're like, oh wait, PS5, Xbox Series X and S coming out. We got to remember that PC is better than everything, and let's prove to them that that's true, because the new graphics cards that got released since our last podcast are kind of blowing everyone's minds right now, and
It's insane.
and pissing off a lot of people that just bought like 2080 Ti's. So there's a lot of chaos going on in the world of like video gaming in general, and
I'm
just
so
PC
happy
hardware
I
and
waited.
gaming hard. It's crazy chaotic, and I'm obsessed with it because
Yeah.
I love the chaos.
How much is that 3080?
So
by
the
the way?
3080,
Did they-
I don't know what it is Canadian
price?
for you guys, but
What?
for us it's coming out at I believe $699. I want to say it is, and then the 3070 is going to be $499. I think those are
Yeah.
the right prices.
So
It's not
No,
bad.
it's not.
I've already-
What you're going to get is insane.
For what you're gonna get, that sounds amazing, right?
It
Yeah.
is amazing.
I have committed. I've made the decision. I'm going to get a 3070 at launch. They sold me on it. I never in my life have I said I'm buying a video card day one. I'm getting a 3070. It's the value's there. It's not. I mean, it's not their top of the line thing, but I very rarely. I don't need to push my hardware into like 8K gaming. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I want to be able to play games at like 4K or 1080p comfortably, and I want to get into VR. That's kind of where I'm looking at. Is kind of where I want my PC to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at. I'm like, a 3070 is perfect. That's what I want.
Yeah,
So
3070 is perfect for a lot of people. That is the sweet spot.
Yep.
I'm a little anxious, and I think I'm gonna try to go for a 3080 because it comes out in like 5 days. Technically, you can start buying them, and we'll see if I can get it. But I think October is.
I mean, is
for
there
the
gonna be-
3070. Was that Zahi?
Is there gonna be that much of a honestly,
Yes.
guys? PC not my forte. Is
Yeah,
there gonna be that much of a difference between the two? No, not between the 2080 Ti. I mean, like,
Oh, the 30s.
yeah, between the
Yeah.
3070 and the 3080.
But-
Like realistically.
Well, between the two, it's hard to say because there's not real good like benchmarks that are out
Comparisons
yet and stuff like that, because not a lot of people have been able to get their hands on it. You can see the stuff that they're putting out from them, which are not always the most accurate. Sometimes it's better than what you think. Sometimes it's not as good. But as soon as you start seeing YouTube videos of all these people putting out their own benchmarks, saying, okay, here's what I did. I ran this game. And then you can compare that against 8 other different graphics cards and all the ones in the same series, you can kind of see. So what we're hearing is it better. So all the numbers. The 3070 is supposed to be better than like the current day best of the best 2080 Ti right now.
Yep.
Which
Sexy.
is ridiculous because those were priced at like insane amounts like a month ago, and people
Like
are
13.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people were spending that much money a month ago, and now all of a sudden they had,
Something.
shame on them, I guess, because they got to know that this shit's coming out, and they should at least have,
Honestly, and that's what I did. I'm like, bro, we have 2 consoles coming out with like 2 different iterations each. There is no way PC isn't coming out with anything to go above and beyond that. Like it's realistic.
See, I think Nvidia's play was more to. It had nothing to do with consoles. It was more because AMD's cards are coming too. Right?
I think they're really pushing to say like, look, we don't like the timing of it all. When they did it, they wait. Like I feel like that they got to know what's going on in the environment of gaming. They got to know what's going on, and at the same time, they're the one console that is kind of like. Playing around with Nintendo is Nvidia, because Nvidia is what powers Nintendo stuff, their Switch.
Right.
So if they're going to be able to push all this stuff coming out from Nvidia and Nintendo's, and there's all these rumors about this new Switch coming out, so if they can take advantage of all this new technology they're putting in there, like there might be a complete change of like everything.
Yeah. I just keep coming back to like there's all these rumors coming of a new line of AMD cards. They're their next cards, and they are supposed to be priced really low.
So I saw my first article today coming out with like early reports of what it is, and they're saying it's about a little better than a 2080 Ti-ish. So that's.
But it's the price though.
Yeah,
right?
that's also true. Yeah, they didn't say. Then this is just a rumor, so this could be completely wrong. But I saw that going, like. Pricing is huge because there are some people who are more concerned about price over performance, but I don't know. So what cards do you guys have now? Do you know what kind of graphics card you guys are running with?
Oh man, I am my PC. Oh god, it's like a GeForce something. I cannot remember just because it's not exactly the greatest, and it's like in 2017 standards.
Okay, so that's still not too bad. Alex, do you know what you got?
Yeah, 1070 Ti.
Okay, and then Brandon, what about you?
I got the 980 Ti in my rig right now.
Okay, it's not too bad. Yeah, I have a 1080, so I'm definitely looking to upgrade, and I'm gonna, like I said, push for the 3080 if possible, if I can get one. I've been looking at the In Stock Now website with all the third parties of all this. I've already got it down. I have Best Buy notifying me, Newegg, and I've got like bookmarks for Amazon waiting for it to come and post, so I can just get there the minute it gets posted. I'm really trying to get the EVGA for the Win Edition, because I've had, I think, 2 or 3 cards from them that have always just been reliable, and I don't know, it's just a bias I have for them.
Yeah. And I think they all come bundled with a year of GeForce Now and Watch Dogs Legion.
Okay, well that's Watch Dogs Legion looks pretty
good.
It does look good. Watch Dogs Legion looks legit. Like it actually does.
It sucks that this episode had to be such a disaster technically, because there's so many things that keep popping in my head that I want to talk about, but it's like, no, we don't have time. We don't have time, Kevin.
But yeah, no, that's like, honestly, like, I said at the top of the show, like, hey, we've got Nintendo waking up, Microsoft's waking up, Sony's waking up, Nvidia's there too. Like this is going to be, if you want to be the type of gamer that has everything, this holiday is going to bankrupt you. Like, this is going to be insanely expensive.
Okay, this is a good segue though to jump right into talking about Xbox, because Xbox has a way to try to help that and possibly convince you to buy one of their consoles, because it sounds pretty affordable, and you might actually save money doing this. So, Alex, do you want to announce it, or do you want me to?
You might have it open. I don't.
I just memorized it because I've looked at it 100 times because I'm like addicted to it.
All right.
Go for it. So Xbox is offering, Microsoft, let's just the real company here, the big daddy with big bucks over here. Microsoft and their
Big Daddy
Microsoft, Billy Gates and his fam. So the new console, Xbox One S. I'm sorry, damn it, I say the name wrong every time I say it. They have the worst naming.
It's a horrible name. It's an
awful
Series
name.
S and Xbox Series X are the 2 new consoles coming
from
Microsoft.
Who designed that?
So, real quick overview for those who are not familiar with this or don't know what's going on with all this. Xbox Series S is their entry level. That's what they're going to kind of try to sell to most people. It's affordable. It's coming in at $300 US dollars. And it's going to be up to 1440p native resolution game console with 120 hertz refresh rate, which doesn't always mean it's going to be able to push out 120 frames a second. It's kind of a little sneaky way they're doing it, but they're going to hopefully push it pretty good. And it's supposed to be capable of doing everything the next one is, which is the Xbox Series X, and that is going to be able to have a native 4K output with the same, I think it's 120 hertz refresh rate for pushing it out. So both of these are pretty capable consoles. They both have the same internal parts, as from what I'm hearing, that pushes the graphical everything except for resolution output. That's the only thing. The S is going to have an upscaler to push it to 4K, but it will be natively in 1440p or however the developer does it, 1440p and lower. Right. So with all that being said, what's that?
Oh, there's one thing. The S is all digital.
Oh, that is a very big point.
Accepts physical media.
Yes, so that is interesting.
I hate that you need to use the phonetic alphabet for these systems. So the Xbox Series S as in Sam, and the Xbox Series X as in X-ray. Like you have to
it's hard
phonetically spell this out.
It is just confusing. Anyways, the exciting part on top of all that is pricing. So the Xbox Series S, like I said, was coming out for $300, and the X
as in Sam,
and the X's X-ray one is coming out at $500 US. So what Microsoft is doing is they're offering a payment plan, which they offer for the current Xbox. I think it's only the all-digital one right now. I think they offer it on. I might be wrong on that.
The SAD?
Yeah, the SAD Xbox. But so if you want to, let's say, Zahi, you're like, you know what? I don't have any money. I just want to buy an Xbox Series S. But I'm like, do you have $25 in your pocket every month? You're like, yeah, I could do that. That's like a couple meals here and there that I could skip. Who needs that? Well, you're in luck because you can pay $25 a month, and they're going to give you an Xbox Series S's and Sam, and they're going to give you the Xbox All Access. That's the whole plan, but the Game Pass subscription for Xbox consoles and PC, and Xbox Live Gold, which you'd be paying for, and an added bonus. They're going to give you EA Play or Access, whatever it's called now. They keep changing the name of it, and you're going to get access to EA's library that they put on there with their pass they have. And you're going to get all of that for $25 a month for 24 months. And the best part about it all, if you take the math and you just take it 24...
For how many months?
For 24 months.
24 months?
But
2 years.
But what happens is, the way you do it is if you pay that $24 a month or $25 a month for 2 years, you're actually paying less for the console than you would if you bought it outright. Which is
smart because it puts in depreciation, right?
Yeah.
Like it puts in the last few months of that console.
Yes, they could have a sale or something, and it ain't gonna be worth as much. Yeah. Or at the same time, they to kind of not scare us more, but they could have a half generation console coming out later on too. A new Xbox S Pro or something. Yeah. But they offer that on the S and on the X, and the X is just going to be $10 more. It'll be $35 a month.
So 25. So let's just go for the Xbox.
It's hard to do the
25 times 24. It'll be about $600.
So but you have to take out the fact that you're not paying for Xbox Live Gold, and you're not paying for Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass PC and EA Play. I think is what it's called now, right? Is that what it's called?
Sure.
That's $5 a month, and the other one is $15 a month. So then you take out $20 a month already, because that's what that price is by itself, which is what I'm paying for right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really good deal.
Yes.
I think on a show a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how Microsoft was going to, they want you to subscribe. That's what they want. They want you to be all in on their infrastructure. I never thought they'd have you subscribing to the actual console. Like, they've gone all out, and they're giving a payment plan.
Yeah.
Like, it's
$35 a month,
and you'll be able to play native 4K gaming on your TV. Which is ridiculous, because these new gaming, the new cards that are coming out from NVIDIA, that's why I talked about that first, they're just being able to do that. Like, nobody's really gaming in really good 4K right now, because to get a good frame rate, like 60, most gamers that are hardcore people are going to say you want at least 60 frames to be good, right? That's why they hate consoles right now, because most of them game at 30 frames a second. To be a good gamer with good visual quality, you want to be gaming at least 60 frames. To get that, you usually have to push everything down to about 1440p, and then you can get pretty good, a good balance. Well, now Xbox is saying we're going to be able to push it to 4K, and they're saying we can get 60 frames and better. This is a game changer now. And we're giving you a cheap payment plan to get all this. And we're giving you Games Pass, which has a shit ton of stuff in it, and they keep adding to it. Plus, they're going to give it to you for PC for fun. And we're going to give you EA Play, or whatever that's called, for a bunch of other stupid Madden games that people somewhat like. This is incredible. It's blowing my mind.
Who actually likes this?
It is really good. And
are you enjoying this because you're such an Xbox?
No, I just love all of it.
Centric
I was debating about only getting a PS5 this year, but I'm like, you know what? If PS5 comes out at $400, $500, I drop that cash down there, and then I can just go in this dumb payment plan for $25 a month and then pay it off early if I can, and I'm saving money anyways. So I'm getting both.
That's smart.
And all of a sudden, it's like I'm not breaking the bank, dropping $1,500 on 2 consoles, and if I get even with my PC, I just built a PC. I'm gonna get a new graphics card. It's gonna be about as good as a new Xbox, and I'm paying like a third of the price for it. The new graphics card I'm looking at is at least $700, at least. So this console I'm gonna get is $25, $35 a month. Like, I don't know. It really puts things in perspective differently. Like, is console gaming no longer going to be like the baby brother who can't compete? Like, is that going to be what's cool now again? I don't know. Wild times, you guys.
What happens to me if I walk into GameStop with like $300 cash? What happens to me? Do I not get any of these bonuses? Do I not get any of the extras?
No. Actually, so that is one thing that is really interesting that I wanted to like highlight with all this is you can get the S at retail. Like if you go into a GameStop, an EB Games, Walmart, or Best Buy, you can get the Series S at this installment plan. Like they have a list on their website of all the retailers that are signed up for this, which blows my mind because the S is an all-digital console. What is in it for EB Games or GameStop to sell you this thing?
There's a guy I know that owns a game shop, and he refuses to sell these all-digital editions of these consoles because he doesn't make any money on them.
Right. Yeah, they don't sell games
from the sale of it.
No, because the price he gets from the distributor from him, where he orders the consoles from, he has to pay almost full price for them. So when he sells them, he's making like maybe $3 or something on it because the hardware the margins are really small on consoles. It sometimes negative because they
and there's no used games either.
So they get screwed, and Microsoft's trying to make all their money because they're now you have to buy all the games from their game store. So every game you buy from them, they're going to get like a 15% cut or whatever the percentage.
Basically cutting out the
correct. So it works great for consumers because now we don't ever have to leave our homes to go and buy games, which is helpful. And they can control the prices, which is good or bad for digital stuff. I mean, if people stop, here's the crazy thing that I keep hearing about is if they stop selling physical, the price of digital will go down. I don't get the whole meaning of it, but that's what everyone I've been hearing from that either is within the industry talking about why digital prices are still so much higher, and the prices of physical gets lower because retailers buy them, and then they can set the price lower when they need to get rid of them. Sometimes.
I think that assumes that you trust the companies to like, hey, we're already making this money. We could lower the price to be like good guy company, or we could, hey, we've already proven to us you're buying it at this price. Like it's kind of like do you trust the company that'll drop the price, right? I think this is a really interesting play by Microsoft, considering that the PlayStation 5 is coming out this year, and the whole story behind the PlayStation 5 versus the Series X and S before this was Sony has games. Sony has Spider-Man, Miles Morales. They've got Ratchet and Clank. Now it sounds like Bloodborne. Now it sounds like the one you're into, Demon Souls, is going to be a launch window game.
I don't know why I said Bloodborne. I meant to say, I was like, Bloodborne? No, I meant to say Demon Souls, yeah.
Generic From Software game number 5.
Generic From Software game number 5. The bloodiest of the souls.
It sounds like that's going to be a launch window game now. So, like, it's got games. They will put out their $500 box and you go out and buy it. Now Microsoft's like, well, we might not have new games. Halo's been delayed. But, hey, if you go into EB Games and they come out on the same day, you might walk out of there with both.
Yeah, you could.
And that costs you, like, $40 more. And you have a Series X or S and a PS5.
But it really makes you think as a consumer because you're like, okay, I have this, we just bought all these games coming off of... So let's be real. Most people did not buy an Xbox or a PS4 at launch, right? They didn't buy an Xbox One at launch or a PS4. They probably got it in the last 3 to 4 years, let's say, because they've gotten cheaper, prices are better, they picked it up on a Black Friday. So a lot of us that are big gamers, we've probably been playing on them since release in 2013. Some of these people have only had them.
That is correct.
Some of these people have only played it for the last 3 or 4. So they've been buying games over the last 3 or 4 years. They're not ready to buy a new console anyways. And they're going to look at the PS5 and they're going to say, well, why would I get this? I can't even play my old games on it. It plays 100 or so PS4 games.
That's true.
I don't know what am I going to be doing with this. But if you look at the Xbox, you're like, well, I have a bunch of games I've just bought recently and I want to still play them and it's going to upscale a lot of them and some of them are going to be enhanced. Well, why would I not go with Xbox? Plus, I'm getting Games Pass, which opens up a library of games most people don't buy a lot of games.
Games Pass is the best
Most
thing,
people
man.
don't buy a lot of games. I have a lot of my friends like, oh, I got an Xbox. I have 4 games. I play those 4, and I play Warzone because it's free. And
Man,
that's just how
I
it is.
agree with that. Some of my work friends who like casually game, they have a PlayStation 4. I'm like, oh sweet, so you're like me and you have like 100 games in your library. He's like, what? No, I just play hockey.
That's exactly. I play Madden and Warzone. I'm like, okay.
What?
And I told my one buddy.
You have a $5.
Yeah, and I told my buddy, I was like, check out Game Pass. He's, what's that? I was like, just check it out. He's like, man, I'm playing this Red Dead Redemption game. Like, I don't know what this is about. This is incredible. I got Grand Theft Auto I was playing. There's all these things, and they just don't know about it. So I don't know. Xbox is they are
Doing a Google.
What's that?
Oh, I'm doing a Google. I want to add a point to this in a moment, but I need to figure this out. I'm holding this thought, basically.
The room table thing about what your thoughts are on this pricing plan and if you're going to get an Xbox, right? Based on all this. So Zahi, what do you think? Does this change your mind about picking up an Xbox closer to launch or around the window of it?
If this is honestly, I've been so busy with school that I didn't realize the price points and how they're like. I just knew that there was a price, and I had no idea they were actually going with it. If this is how they're gonna do it, man, that's brilliant. I would so be. Here's the thing, if I were to like, I would rather pay the $10 more, just because I'm a classy bitch, and get the Series X. But I wish the Series X was still all digital. I really don't like disc-based media anymore so much.
You can still use it.
I mean, you can just
put a
download
piece of tape over it and never use it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the silliest thing. You don't have to use it.
I just
It's like
destroy
saying,
it all.
well, I've got a backdoor in my
end to
house. I wish it
discs
didn't
and
have
clutter.
it. I have to use it now. Like, you just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm like, shit. I can't just walk out the front.
You're the guy that it's buy one,
know?
get one free,
I
and you
know.
complain. You're like, well, I don't want a free one. I just want the one.
I don't. What am I gonna do with it?
Oh my
I
God.
get so angry. I actually would. I'm like, I'm not gonna use this. But no, if this is the case, I would probably get myself an Xbox Series X at the third. I'm sure is Alex. Do you know if the price point is different in
Yes,
money?
in our Monopoly money in Canada, yeah. So I'm not sure about the trade-in stuff. I don't think that's been, or not the trade-in, the payment plan thing, because I don't think that's been announced for Canada yet. But the Series S, as in Sam, is $379 in Canada, and the X is $499 or $599.
Oh, thank God! I was gonna say what? $599, so $600. So that's still not off too much off the ball. Honestly, I'd rather just get, if the price point for, a subscription-based console is only 35 to, let's just say, whatever the exchange rate ends up being for our Monopoly currency, I'd rather just get the X. And honestly,
it's getting Halo in a year,
and you're gonna have free on Game Pass. You don't have to pay for it.
That's the best thing.
Crazy.
Ugh. I think with that, I would personally prefer to get an Xbox over a PlayStation.
It's pretty convincing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't think. I think right now where I'm at in my gaming, I would, especially with that kind of a price point plan, I would much rather get an Xbox Series X.
Here's another thing to even.
If this price point wasn't around, I would get the S because I like the all digital. But with a payment plan on a console, hell yeah, I'll get the higher end one.
You're also getting.
2 years,
I forgot to mention
easy peasy.
this coming out, and I think that's the 15th. They're also adding the cloud. What do they call it? xCloud. They're adding xCloud. So a majority of games on Game Pass, you're going to be able to stream to your other devices. So you can play on your laptop, you can play on your phone, you can only so that's going to come in free too. They're not charging for that if you're already a member of their program for, I think, the All Access Pass, which is like what I pay right now, $15 a month for the PC and Xbox Game Pass.
This is what happens when a company has infinite money. Like, they could just give you everything, and they just want you to subscribe. They just want you to keep, hey, give us your credit card number. We'll keep charging it every month, and hey, don't worry
Right.
about
What I
it.
think it's funny is I think
it's
Sony
good.
is like, oh, we got games and Xbox doesn't. I feel like they're over there laughing, but I think that Sony's got games and they're not bad games, but they're not Nintendo. They don't have games that you can literally only get there and they're the greatest things ever. I don't think that, like, I think this goes back to a couple episodes like a while back. We looked at sales versus like Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Super Smash Brothers, and I think Odyssey and Breath of the Wild all outsold like the best first-party titles from Microsoft and Sony combined. So I mean, they might have Ratchet and Clank, but are that many people running to Ratchet and Clank? It's not. I mean, people buy the consoles. The majority of what they're going to play is Call of Duty, Warzone, Fortnite. They're playing all the sports games, Madden, NBA. So I mean, these are things you can play anywhere. It doesn't really matter. So are those even though they've got exclusives, do people actually care that much about the exclusives? I think to us, we think about it as that, but
I think the better question. I think the better question is, are exclusives more valuable than a console economy that's more consumer friendly?
Being able to play old games, play games all the way back to original Xbox, like that's. I mean, a lot of people don't care about it, but I mean, there are a lot of people like Alex. Like you love older games and you love to go back and revisit and retro gaming.
What? No.
Hide it, Alex. Hide it all.
I have a ton of original Xbox games that I'd love to try and play again that I never even played before, and it'll upscale them and make them more current and like to blow it up. And some of the games are getting updates and stuff. Like it's mind blowing. Sony's not doing that. They're like, oh yeah, PS 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that crap? Bye. Oh, we'll grab 100 games from PS4. We'll let you play those.
Here's the thing: you have. Let's just say you have. I don't fucking know. Miles Morales. You got Horizon Zero Dawn. You got Demon's Souls, and you got Ratchet and Clank. Off the top of my head, just as the most exclusively exclusive right now. If there's another one, bring it up. How many of those 5 exclusives are you going to play? Start to finish, let's be real. And then, are you going to play the other ones? And do those other ones necessitate you having to have a PlayStation 5? Like, of all of them, honestly, I would probably maybe play Demon's Souls. And let's just take I'll take Demon's Souls out because it's a game I already played and I just want to play it for the nostalgia factor. I would probably play either Horizon Zero Dawn or Spider-Man Miles Morales. And that would be my like console exclusive game that I would buy the PlayStation for. So
if Sony's selling these things like they sell like games right now, so you named 4 games. Mm-hmm. At $70 a pop, that's $280.
It's crazy. Is that
$300?
Canadian.
Is that $300?
Yeah.
Does that necessitate? True.
Well, I did 70
ours
times
are only
4,
60.
okay?
Ours are 60.
Yeah. Does that roughly?
Well,
until next gen prices.
That's TBD.
TBD.
So let's finish before we move on. I want to.
But does that 250?
I want to finish going around and see what we said. So Zahi, you said this does kind of entice you and make you want to get an Xbox Series X at that payment. Brandon, what about you? What were your thoughts on next gen in general? And now that you hear this, what do you think?
For me, it's like paradox of choice. Like, how am I going to make time for Cyberpunk, Shadowlands, Xbox, and the Switch that I just bought? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, do I just go outside and like ignore the entire internet for the next 6 months?
The gaming hive mind. Like you're just always.
These are our actual problems.
I'm super cynical about financing a console over 2 years, but at the same time, they're just throwing so much value at you.
Yeah. The fact
I don't even want to play a sports game, but you're gonna give me the EA thing for free.
Yeah.
I guess I'm playing.
Exactly.
I'm gonna spend too much.
I feel the same way because usually I'm like, oh, I don't want to finance it. Let me pay, but it's cheaper for me to finance it with 0% interest than it is for me to go and buy it day one with everything for free. Like I'm saving money.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It feels stupid.
It does, and it's like, well, and it gives me opportunity to go buy more things without making me feel guilty about spending too much money at once. It's bonkers. I can't believe it. I don't know. I'm just excited. I just want to get some new hardware in here and play with things and whatever. Okay, Alex, what about you? You're the only one that we haven't really asked yet.
I'm actually curious.
My opinion on the Xbox Series Sam and X-Ray have really like changed since they announced these things.
Keep those names.
Well, so my day job, I work in a call center, and X and S are very hard to parse separately. So I'm just going to put it out there. I coach people all day to say Sam and X-Ray. I'm going to do the same. Lead by example. Anyway, my opinions on the system have fully changed. Where I get the value proposition is really there, but like Brandon was saying, time is a fleeting thing. We haven't there are exclusives on PlayStation. There are exclusives on Nintendo. I want to get that 3070 we were talking about. I'd rather have more of a scatter shot and like, all right, I have a bit of like, I'll buy a Switch game now because that's what's new. But like once that's done, okay, I'll buy a PS5 game. So one thing that I want to add, and I don't think this has been brought up a whole lot, and it's what I was Googling earlier, EB Games or GameStop, you can trade in an Xbox One right now for $100. So on launch day for the Series S or Sam and X-Ray, if you show up with an Xbox, your old Xbox One, and all your games are tied to your Microsoft account, and you say, "Hey,
that's what I'm doing.
$100 for this system. Take 40 of it. Give me a Series X, and that other $60, I'm buying a game."
Yeah, I mean, why do you need an Xbox One anymore?
You could do.
I don't. But that's exactly what I was gonna do. I was gonna trade in my my Xbox.
Shit, I got 3 Xbox Ones.
Yeah,
I'm just trade them all in. I don't need them anymore. It's crazy.
Do it. Like, there's no
reason.
There's no reason to own an Xbox One anymore. Well, starting in November, don't do it now. But like starting in November, there's.
And they're I got no Xbox. Out, so you probably won't get it till probably February. But
like I'm notorious. I never trade anything in. Look behind me. Like I've had this stuff.
Yeah, me neither. That's good. I'm not actually gonna do that.
But I really like. I'll never plug in my Xbox One again after this.
Yeah, I know.
Like, why would I?
Maybe I'll just trade in my S.
Economy
I have an Xbox One original, an S, and an X. So maybe I'll just get rid of the Xbox One Sam. I will trade that one in and just get an Xbox One S, and maybe I'll trade in my Xbox One X for the Xbox Series X, and then I'll just keep my original Xbox. So like my VCR.
I was gonna say, if you had 3, keep 1.
Yeah.
You know, like a nostalgia factor at least.
Or like
or just trade them all in and cover your first month's financing for 3 new ones,
that's
right?
That's also true. I mean, I could, but no.
Yeah.
But I don't need. I always gotta save one just to like reminisce about. It's just something. I feel like Alex.
You start it up and wait 30 seconds for the menu to show up. Oh, nostalgia! The Xbox One.
You know what? The one thing I'm most excited for, honestly, is load times with what the Xbox is promising.
SSD.
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
I'm sorry, I keep talking over you tonight, but to add to your point, Zahi,
please,
they had a video I watched where they were doing an example of showing like the instant play or whatever, which I talk about this with my friends all the time.
Isn't it beautiful?
Sometimes like I go for my Switch because I just turn it off and on and it's already playing, right? So I literally would just grab my Switch Lite and I'll play that because it's just I have like 15 minutes. I'm too lazy to turn something on, find a game, get the right launcher on my PC or turn on my console, turn it on, get the TV, get the audio. Like, that all takes too long. But looking at this, they had the Xbox One or Xbox Series X, and the guy was playing. I think he was playing Fortnite. Then he exited out of Fortnite and went right into an original Xbox game that was already open and on. Then backed out of that and jumped into another Xbox One game. And he just kept going in between. He had like 5 different games running in the background that it was just like at a pause screen, and you just start playing. You don't have to reload a save and try to find out where you're at. Like, you just start playing.
10 minutes. Minimum 10 minutes. Probably 15 if, like, I have to turn it on and then go do something, like make a coffee. And I think it'll load by then. And Destiny 2, for me, takes, like, 15 minutes to just get into the system. And
are you running it on your hard drive, or do you have an external drive for your Xbox?
No,
that's a hard drive. You're not running on an SSD. I don't think any of the new ones have SSDs in them, but the new hard drives and the new consoles are going to have like crazy specific SSDs, especially the PS5. So
Yeah.
it's just gonna. I mean, going from a hard drive to an SSD is already like ridiculous. I mean, you can't even run Windows properly, Windows 10 on an HDD anymore because it can't do its super fetch and it resource hogs the hell out of it and everything dies. So I just can't wait for the next generation of gaming. I think where we're at I think that console gaming has got such a bad game over the last 3 years because I think they kind of came in. I think in 2013, technology was in a weird spot when they made these consoles, and I think they made them a little bit too outdated than what it should be. I think this next group of like consoles and stuff is really going to set a new like appreciation for all this. Because back then, you know,
you're at an event horizon. Event horizon of gaming.
I think so too. I think this is good. I think this is gonna be back in the day. People used to go buy the gaming consoles because it was better than everything else. Like gaming PCs were just so different. But I don't know, with new video cards coming out, new consoles, new all this is an exciting time. And there's actually good games coming out for the first time in a long time. Like Brandon, you mentioned Shadowlands. I know the hell out of everybody talking about this.
I'm so happy someone else mentioned Shadowlands.
Oh my god, I can't wait. I text Brandon like once a week telling him how excited I am about this damn game. So, I mean, I'm just so freaking excited. I literally just keep opening up the WoW launcher and I like open up WoW right now and I'm like, I don't know, want to play right now, but I just kind of feeling the excitement coming back to me. Like I'm ready to come back into this.
Okay.
Yeah, and then in a few weeks, it'll be gone. So we're gonna put a pause on this topic because I think we could talk all night about next gen, and we actually do have another next gen system to talk about. So we'll jump right into that then. We'll talk about the PlayStation 5, and they have an event coming up next week on the 16th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, where Sony has said that they are going to be talking about. They're going to give PlayStation 5 launch details. They're going to talk about previously announced games and new games that they haven't talked about yet.
Elden Ring.
They might talk about Elden Ring. It'd be weird because it was announced at a Microsoft event, but it'd be weird. But
was it?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
E3.
yeah.
But yeah, so we got a Sony event coming up. So I guess the big question is, now we know Microsoft's prices. So we know. Now he's back.
Sorry, guys.
That's all good. So big question. How much is the PlayStation 5? Whatever.
400.
499 US or
400
$400
because they got to come right between those two consoles. They have to do it. I don't think they can go as low as the 300 because it's going to be, if they've only got one console, technically they have a no disc and a disc one. I would say maybe one is 350 and one's 400 ish.
Okay.
That's my thing because they can't. I don't think they have to be less than their $500. If they come higher than Xbox 500, they're done. They just lost. But if they can come somewhere between the two 300 and 500 consoles that Microsoft has, I think they can be okay.
Cool. Brandon?
I think they're either between or like right at the upper end of what the Xbox Series X as in xylophone is. Mm-hmm. And then they also like pre-announce either a cheap version of the PlayStation, like a slimmed down digital only or whatever version, or they announce a super duper high end that's coming out 2022.
All right. Zay?
I actually think the PS5 is going to be on the extremely high end of the price point. I actually think it's going to be higher than the Xbox One X Canadian or American right now. Well, arguably, it's a stronger console, so it should be more expensive.
They came out and I keep saying I can't remember who it was that did testing for it, but they said, I don't remember if it was the GPU or the CPU that they measured. They said it's not as powerful as the PS5. The Xbox Series X will be
by like 0.1.
No, it's a little bit more. It is like I think it was 10% or 12% better, the Xbox. But that doesn't mean anything because technically the Xbox One X is more powerful than the PS4 Pro, and some games do perform better on the PS4 Pro than the Xbox One X. It just depends on the optimization by the developer. So
I think we're getting to the point where split
you're right.
now between
10 to 12% is not make or break.
But I think personally,
gigahertz, and then the PS5's at 3.5 gigahertz. So like that's kind of your big difference.
But the PS5 also, sorry, I'm cutting you off again. They have their special SSD technology that is only, Remember this guy's name in it? Mike Cherry, something like that. That dude had that whole press conference. Whatever.
Mike Cerny.
So that guy, and they talked about how impressive it was, and this is mind blowing and stuff. So that's something that doesn't seem like Xbox has. So they might be able to transfer information faster between the SSD and the CPU versus Xbox, and so maybe that outweighs a faster CPU. Who knows? So I don't know. Go on. Sorry.
I personally no, it's all good. I personally think that PlayStation is going, because if they market or if they price in between the two Xbox consoles, I don't think that'll look good image-wise, personally. I think what the angle Sony is going to try to go with the PlayStation 5 specifically is more of a higher-end bougie kind of console where it's more like where I see it as them trying to be like Rolls-Royce high-end kind of client or kind of gamers that come to the console. So I think it's actually going to be valued higher, even if the console itself is average, everything is relatively the same. I think their approach is going to try to make it presentably as if it's.
You're saying it's like an Apple product where you'll have an Apple and Android phone and they're the same spec.
Bingo.
But Apple charges more because they're upper class and they want to be prestigious and the label. Okay.
That's
so that's what you're
exactly
I could
what
see
I
that
think
because I think they are getting a little bit full of themselves when they were like, we don't want to do crossplay with you guys. We're better than you. We're going to play Fortnite by ourselves. Nobody wants to play with you Switch players over there. We're Sony.
I like how the Sony's British now.
I'm like, is Sony
they
supposed
are a very
to be
Japanese
British?
company, but they all are British, so it's just how it is. We don't want to play with any of your games over there.
So there's one thing that's kind of a thread here, and like you said earlier, like I like the retro stuff, and I like to I don't want to say study, but I remember gaming history.
Gaming over there.
And study games.
I would go to your class if you.
Fun.
Yeah. Oh, our views in England are changing.
Bloody hell, our views are going
down. So the PlayStation 3 launch was a horrible disaster for Sony. It went badly.
Because that shit was like $800.
It was a bougie console. Yeah.
Oh.
$599 was their actual
It was what, $750 for us?
Yeah, it was like $750 for us. After inflation, it's like $900.
So Sony sucked it up at PS3, but Xbox had Red Ring of Death at the same time, so they were both screwed.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, and the Wii walked its way to 100 million.
You know what? Let's just target grandmas in nursing homes. Ooh, I can play Wii bowling.
But so Sony. So yeah, I like Wii bowling. So Sony has done this expensive bougie console before. They tried to sell it on exclusives back then, and it seemed like I'm getting the feeling they're trying to sell us on exclusives again now.
That's why I'm feeling it.
And I just noticed. Sorry, I thought I had frozen on video. I haven't. But I do think that Sony is kind of repeating its history a little bit, where, like you said, Kevin, they tried to lock things down to just them, which was a problem before. And the PS3 took years to get back. Like the PS3 eventually did succeed when they did a full rebrand, and they did I think the marketing campaign was "It Only Does Everything" with Kevin Butler, which are really great commercials. But like the crying baby Sony, like I don't know if you guys remember, like PS3. God. I feel like they're going back to that. Like they're going back to that abstract. Like this is going to be like an expensive. This is premier gaming, and here you've got
exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And here you've got Microsoft showing up with all the deals we said. Like you get 1 million games on day one. Break it down. If you walk into a Best Buy and you say, "I have $299 exactly, give me an Xbox Series S," they'd be like, "All right, cool." Or do you also want a Nintendo Switch? Those two systems are at the same price, $299 and $299. For the Switch and the Series X, S as in Sam. The Switch Lite's a bit cheaper, but it's a handheld. I think minimum they're going to come in at $499, and I don't think that was their original plan. I think they were aiming for $599, because there are also reports that that Microsoft is selling the X at a loss. That they're going to be losing money.
Really?
Oh, I bet
Yeah, they're going to lose
losing
money off
in
it, which
Game
is
Pass.
not
Pokemon
like
said that
this
Game
happens
Pass is
from
not
time-
profitable as of right
I-
now, but they plan to just get everybody hooked, and
Right.
then they're going to start to try to. They already changed the price of. I think next month the Game Pass PC goes up by $5. Game Pass, yeah, PC.
Right. And like I said at the top of the show, Microsoft has infinite money. Sony doesn't. Sony is like they're giant corporations. Microsoft is on an
they're at,
entire
like,
other
Google
level.
levels.
Yeah.
When it comes to
Literally.
Yeah, they are by orders of magnitude bigger and more financially secure than Sony. Sony is financially secure. They're a billion-dollar company, but they are not Microsoft. So I think the PS5 minimum is $499. I don't think they can get below that. If they do, they are going to be losing stupid amounts of money, which is also something they did on the PS3. The PS3, even at $599, they sold it at a loss. They lost money on that thing.
That's right.
So I think they're going to do, I think $499 minimum. Ceiling, it's going to be $599. They probably want to get to $549 or $649, but that's stupid. Like as soon as you slap a 6 on there, you're done.
I think $649 is Canadian is what they would
Oh,
go for.
I'm thinking because usually like prices are like in US when you compare them, but yeah, like $649 Canadian. Yeah, that's what we're going to be paying for a PS5.
I
And
think so, man.
with what we think their launch games are, so Miles Morales, like you said, Miles Morales, that's $80 more.
That's $80 right there.
Ratchet and Clank, another $80. Like Sony doesn't have this setup to do game streaming and this subscription.
It
doesn't exist,
What you're
right?
saying, the net worth of the company. So if you look at Microsoft's bottom line net worth is $1 trillion with a
God.
T, and
Oh my
Sony's net
God.
worth is about 72
Jesus.
72.5
Trillion as in
billion.
Tom.
So
So Microsoft is worth more than 10 times over the value of, or 100 times over the value of Sony. It's not in the same ballpark, right? Yeah. So I think if we're talking about prices, I'm going $499 minimum, $599 likely for the PS5.
Do you think this could be a huge upheaval for Xbox in general? Do you think this is what would win the next console war with this price point, with these advantages in general?
So that's the thing. I don't think Microsoft cares about a console war anymore. They just want you like.
they just want their games,
you can
their
subscribe.
products. They're putting games on Switch. I mean, Minecraft is the biggest game that has ever been made ever. It sells more copies than anything ever, even more than Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
That's how successful this game is, and it's owned by Microsoft.
It's on PS4.
They have it on PS4.
Switch,
They have it on Switch. They have it on Apple iPhones. They have it on Android phones. They have it on VR. They have it on everything. So
Ori and the Blind Forest is on
Ori,
Switch.
Cuphead, they don't care. So they just want you to play their shit.
That's
They don't even care where you're playing it at this point. Even Phil Spencer
Right.
came out
And
and
I mean-
said, "We don't really care if you buy our console or not. We just want you to play stuff that we own, basically." And we're giving
Right,
you
'cause
umpteen different ways to do it.
You subscribe. Like a console generation is what 6, 7, 8 years now. If they have like mid-gen
Yeah.
refreshes,
Right.
you buy a console once, you pay $400. You subscribe at $40 a year for 7 years. That's more money. Like that's constant revenue that just keeps coming in. Multiple users, you might have that coming in. Like
I think that they're learning just like we just said. They're taking it from if you have to have our hardware, which getting someone to go out and buy hardware and use that as the only way to play their stuff limits the consumer. Whereas if you look at Netflix, which is making tons and tons and tons of money, you can watch Netflix on everything.
Yeah.
So Microsoft is going from a hardware company for the gaming division, at least in their gaming for Xbox.
Yeah.
They're taking it from being you have to buy this to play all of this anywhere you want. We'll still make more money than you can ever imagine. But we're still going to give you an option to play it on our stuff if you want.
Right. Which is very true to Microsoft's origins. They've always been a
Yeah.
software company. They didn't make PCs back then. They made Windows. They were a software company. Them making a physical box you can buy is actually a bit odd for them, right? So, because they're not a hardware company, they're not Apple. Apple makes their own PCs. Microsoft doesn't. They'll let Dell make them. Let Toshiba.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, they're a software company. It's Microsoft, not micro hard.
Which I think Sony's just opposite, because they were a tech company making hardware and now they're making software.
Right. Yeah. Sony was a music company for a long time. Like they still are, but like their big bucks was like Walkmans and Discmans and like stereos. Like hardware, physical things you can hold in your hands.
Yeah.
Sorry if that just slapped the mic there.
Crazy.
So on the 16th we'll have that PlayStation 5 event. We'll all be proven wrong somehow, and the PlayStation 5 will be a subscription-based console that it costs.
Can you imagine?
We're giving everybody a free PS5. Please buy our games.
You have to sign up at this website, and there's only 5 of them.
We just need a vial of blood, and you'll be good to have it for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
A contract for 5 years.
I think the big thing this generation is gonna come down to, at least between Microsoft and Sony. Sony feels like they're doing what they've always done. We're selling you a box and there's games on it. Some of them you can only get here. And Microsoft is like, hey, we are flipping the table. We are doing something completely different.
Yeah, because why would you want to buy something that limits you? You're like, well, like Assassin's Creed is a perfect example. It's like you can play it on PS5 or Xbox. Pretty similar experience. Let's be real. They're not going to be life-changing either or. Well, why would you want to limit yourself to PS5 when you can't even play all your old games on it?
It also feels to me like Microsoft, they're never going to be the ones to say this, but it kind of feels like they are assuming, hey, on day one, if it was just like, forget all the subscription stuff, forget all the funny payment plan things. If you just took the PS5 and the Series X and S, the PS5 is probably the best deal on day one because it has more games to play.
No, well, hold on. Maybe it depends on how you look at it. Because day one, the Xbox.
No, I take away all.
But that's such an important piece to it. That's so hard to even ignore.
Day one.
Right, but this is the point I'm making. So, because I think what Microsoft's plan or play is, hey, people are probably more excited. If you look at the internet in general, Sony's. The Sony Twitter and Sony like groups on Reddit are always much louder because they have a more worldwide audience than Microsoft. So I'm assuming, or my guess is that, hey, day one, more people are probably going to run out. There's more hype for the PS5. The PS4 killed this generation, so it's got the momentum. Let's come in subtly, be like, all right, pick up your PS5. But for an extra $25, also get a Series S. And it reminds me a lot of the Wii generation that we were just talking about, where people, like, the Wii was like you had a PS3 and a Wii, or you had a 360 and a Wii. It was like, they're two different lanes. And Nintendo, this generation, they've been more successful than ever, but it's like, you have a Switch and a PS4, you have a Switch and an Xbox One. You just now I kind of see Microsoft getting a play from that, or an idea from that playbook, and saying, hey, get both. We're only $30. That's it. Like, it's. Yeah. I think they're trying to like get into that. And November 10th is fairly early. In November, I thought they were going to be a little bit later in November.
I do too.
Which, if the PlayStation 5 comes out after, I think that's going to be a bit of a problem for Sony, because you walk into the store and they're both there, and EB Games is going to try to upsell you on a Series S. They will upsell you like crazy. You're like, hey, for $40 you get both, and you're only paying $30 more. That's nuts. Like, that's insane. I've never heard of that before. So that's my piece on it. That's my take.
Fair.
I'm probably gonna put down the money for a PS5 and then go with a payment plan for a Series
X. You gotta do it
X.
for the show, man. Gotta do it.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so we are getting a bit long, and we did start a bit late with all the technical issues, so we're going to wrap it up very soon. But I did want to just quickly go over the Mario 35th anniversary things.
Yes.
Nintendo announced. So we touched the big three. So Nintendo, out of the blue, I literally woke up that day, made a coffee, shaved my head a bit, made sure it was nice and squeaky, and I checked my phone and I got a million, like, my phone's blowing up being like, oh my God, Nintendo just announced like all these Mario stuff. And I was like, what the hell? Like there was no pre-announcement of anything. They just dropped it. So it is Mario's 35th anniversary, or Super Mario Brothers, the NES game's 35th anniversary, and I feel old. So I'm going to go through the list of what they announced, and we can just give our general thoughts on it all. So I'm following the list that they have on Nintendo's website. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. So this is what they say, optimized versions of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy all in one package, coming to the Switch literally next week, September 18th. They gave 2 weeks notice that this game was coming out. So yeah, we got Super Mario 3D All-Stars. We got Mario Kart Live Home Circuit that comes out in October. And so what this is, it's you get a little plastic Mario Kart toy with a camera on it, and it comes with like these cardboard. It kind of looks like Labo. Like you make your racetrack, and it follows your racetrack through your house. So you're driving your kart through your house, and it has like AR stuff. So like you've got like the Koopalings will show up, and you throw your shell at them.
Cool.
It looks really cool. So that's coming out on October 16th. It's going to be $100. And it comes in both, or either a Mario set or a Luigi
it's
set.
sold out everywhere, isn't it?
I don't really. Yeah, that's sold out real fast. But that looks really cool. Then they have Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers, which holy shit, I'm excited for this. Like I don't usually say holy shit for.
Of course, you would love it.
I don't usually drop S as in Sam bombs for Game & Watch games.
Holy Sam, is he excited?
Holy Sam, am I excited. So what this is, it's a Game & Watch was what Nintendo did on handhelds before Game Boy. So that's their previous line of things. So like, I think 1981 was the first one. Actually, I have a recreation of Ball back there. So actually, let me grab it. Hold on a sec. If you'll indulge me.
Go for it.
I love Alex.
This announcement was made for him.
I love show and tell. Show and tell is my favorite part of the show. Sorry for anyone listening to the show who can't see this. You should check out our YouTube channel. So yeah, so this is a recreation of the first Nintendo handheld that they put out on Club Nintendo a few years ago.
God.
Yeah, it's tiny. So it's that's Game & Watch. So they're they look like calculator screens basically.
Yeah.
So this one though is not. It's a full color. It's basically like a full LCD screen. It has Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. It is going to be a Game & Watch too. It's like part of the Game & Watch line and everything. It has all the it's called the Game & Watch because they're also the cameras. They're also clocks. So Game & Watch.
What?
Yeah. So this is what Nintendo used to do before the Game Boy. And so that's coming out on November 13th. And it's going to okay, so this is the thing. It's going to cost $49.99, $50. If you don't get a pre-order on these and pre-orders haven't opened yet, you're going to be paying like 4 times that price, if not like into the several $100s. This is Nintendo announced it was going to be a collector's item. There's the box I was taking it out of. So Nintendo announced these is going to be a collector's item. I am refreshing the Reddits for pre-orders on this because I absolutely need this thing. I want this Game & Watch so bad. Then moving on to the other stuff, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So that's coming out on February 12th. This is a port of the Wii U game 3D World, and it adds a new Bowser's Fury mode, which we don't know what that is. It sounds like it's going to be a hard mode, basically. So 3D World is one of the last Wii U games that has not been ported to the Switch, and it's on its way, so that's cool. Then you have Super Mario Brothers 35, which comes out on October 1st, so that's coming up soon. This is kind of like Tetris 99, where it's 35 players are playing Super Mario Brothers at the same time, and it's a battle royale type thing.
Yeah, I love that.
That's going to be really fun. What's really annoying is that they already announced that it's only going to be playable until March 31st, so after March 31st, they're turning it off. But when it comes out on October 1st, I am going to be streaming that, so I'm actually really excited for that. I suck at Tetris 99. I might do well at this. I'm not bad at Mario Bros. Big thing is that Super Mario All-Stars, so the original Super Nintendo game, which is Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, and the Lost Levels, is now on Switch Online. I already played it for a bit, so you can, if you have Nintendo Switch Online, you can play those versions. And then they had a whole bunch of events and things that I'm not going to go over. But that's the summary of Nintendo's plans for Mario's 35th anniversary. What stands out to you guys? I'm Game & Watch all day.
The only thing that was actually interesting to me was I switched the sound again to see if it was fixed. So did you mention the 3D All Stars with what was in it? I know you mentioned it, but did you mention what was in it with okay.
Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and
that's
Galaxy.
what I got. I already pre-ordered it, and that's what I'm excited for. And the only part I'm excited for is Super Mario Sunshine. And
nice.
Because I really hate Galaxy and Mario 64, I've played it 100 times. I just don't care. I just want my Sunshine. Sunshine is the best.
Have you ever played
best one you can get?
Have you ever played Sunshine?
Yeah, I loved it. Actually, I don't know if I told the tragic tale of how I got it for. I rented it a bunch of times as a child, and I had to keep returning it because that's how it works, right? So for my birthday, my parents got me Super Mario Sunshine, and I was like, you know what? I've already played a good chunk of it. I feel like I could get another game instead. So I had my mom return it for me, which was the stupidest thing I ever did. And that's when I bought Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, and I got that instead. And I love that game. Don't get me wrong. But in retrospect, I wish I had a Super Mario Sunshine GameCube game sitting on my shelf, not a Ty the Tasmanian Tiger game sitting on my shelf right now. So now I'm hoping I will actually get to finish Super Mario Sunshine now that I have this coming. So yes, that's what I'm excited for.
I won't do show and tell twice, but I have a not for resale version of Super Mario Sunshine, which has like just a big not for resale sticker across it. I've played it, like it's open, so it's not very valuable, but Sunshine is a good game. Sunshine is just a little janky.
It's by far
like
it's so cool.
It's not
Mario
as
gets like real things to do. He's not just bouncing around.
Right.
He gets a jetpack and water. He's basically a waterbender. Yeah. It's just great.
Flood. Flash liquid ultra dousing something. I forget what it's called.
I would want to invest in the Battle Royale.
Yeah.
That is where my interest. I think I would have the most fun in that.
Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 35 looks like a cool idea. Like
yeah.
Cool.
I actually want to check it out and just see like more about it after you mention it. Like that actually sounds kind of legit.
I will be live streaming that. Like that's like
the day before my birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Get a Switch and you can play it with me.
You know, I never got a chance to pick up Galaxy, so that sounds kind of fun to me. Plus the nostalgia of Mario 64.
Galaxy's a really good. I know, like Kevin just disparaged it for some reason, but I think Galaxy is just. I don't use the word perfect a lot, but I can't think of anything wrong with that game. Like I can't think of anything wrong.
Controls.
So Wii game.
That's what I hated about it. It just took the fun out of it.
I like the Wii. I like weird things.
I like weird things that work, not things that don't work. The motion controls were terrible.
I heard Galaxy in itself, aside from the motion controls, was what you would call pretty much a perfect game.
People do say that.
Because I was never super, I was never gotten into it.
People do exactly what you're saying. That's what it is. I just think it was dumb.
I've never gotten a chance to play Galaxy, actually, unfortunately. Or most Mario games.
I really want to try the Battle Royale Mario. This game's going to stop being sold after March, too. So you'll never be able to play it again. Digitally and physically, it's going away. Yeah. So if you want it, you need to jump on it now. You'll never get to play it.
So that's the big controversy with all this is, so Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a limited release, physically and digitally.
That's awful.
Yeah, no one really knows why, but there's a lot of like theories going around. The big one is that.
Is that not what you're gonna say?
Sorry, what?
Oh, I said I was gonna say it's for Zelda's 35th anniversary or 30th or something like that.
Right, Zelda's 35th is next year. The theory I heard is that because. And I think we have an article that goes over this too on the website that Steve wrote. It's Nintendo really values its properties, and Nintendo very rarely puts out collections of their games, especially collections of their bigger games. And this is 3 of their biggest titles they have, like legacy games. So for them, not want to devalue their brand, because they still, like, Nintendo will always charge you $70 for a game if they can get away with it. Like Breath of the Wild,
try to sell you Super Mario
ridiculous.
Sunshine again next year by itself for $60 or something, and people will buy it.
The along that line, what I had heard was next year, because like Nintendo Switch Online subscriptions are going to come up after a while, and I mean they're adding Super Nintendo games right now, but once they start running out of Super Nintendo games, what's next? It's 64 games, and they got to make it like one of those is going to be Super Mario 64, and they're going to want people to be like hyped for that. So the idea is like, you know, we stopped selling the 3D All-Stars, and then, hey, Super Mario 64 is like, oh, look, it's out again. Like, it's on the
So what I'm hearing from different podcasts and some articles I read is because Zelda's 35th is next year, they want to do something similar and take the spotlight off Mario, stop selling that, and makes it limited time, gets hype, gets people trying to buy them, and then move it to Zelda, and they're going to do some type of a 3-game remake or something for him as well, and have Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, or something. I don't know. He put 3 games he's got.
I just want a
you'll
massive
never
Zelda
get that.
collection. I want every single
Nintendo
Zelda
wants to
game
milk you
in
so hard for cash.
one
They don't
purchase.
care. You know how many times I purchased? I guess bought is not a word. How many times I purchased those same exact Zelda games on different things? I have Ocarina of Time like 6 times, and I don't even play it all the way through every time. I'm just like, oh, I have to get it. You got to pay your Nintendo tax. Here it is.
There was, and it's behind me somewhere, but there is a GameCube disc that has Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. And those games are like Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 are NES games. Like, they're not really like, but like, I remember being like, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, like, holy crap, Nintendo, like, that is content you're giving me. And they've never done anything like that since. Like, now Nintendo will be like, oh, look, it's $5 on Virtual, but like, subscribe to Switch Online, you can get our games. So yeah, no, Nintendo is not big on doing collections, and I think that's why 3D All-Stars is a limited release, because they want you to like, hey, we're doing this to celebrate Mario, but like once we're like, and March 31st is the end of their fiscal year, so I'm pretty sure they're like, once that's done, it's done. We're not making this anymore. So I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered the physical edition, and I'm going to buy it digitally, and I'm going to keep my physical edition nice and sealed, because I'm that kind of person. Yeah, it's my retirement fund. So any other thoughts on the Mario 35th anniversary? They're doing
I'm interested to check it out.
They are doing a Splatfest on sometime in January. They haven't announced when, but so after like 2 years after announcing they were never going to do a Splatfest again, and that Splatoon 2 was over, they're doing Super Mushroom versus Power Star as a Splatfest, and I'm like, oh, a brand new Splatfest, and they put out T-shirts for it, and I bought one. It's not here yet. I would have worn that instead of this Mario shirt. I try to be thematic to the show.
I like it.
Yeah, this is like this X-rayed Mario. Hey, X-ray, like the Xbox. It's on so many levels. Yeah, no, it is strange. And there was that report that Nintendo had originally, because they put out all these things on like their Club Nintendo and like websites and things like that, that had said they forgot to change a few dates that said these things were supposed to start in April. So it sounds like it was maybe like a 5-6 month delay due to the pandemic or whatever that was going on in the world, that we are here now. So like, I don't think it was ever the plan to only have a 2-week lead up to 3D All-Stars, because like that went up, like they did the direct and pre-orders were up and they were sold out like almost instantly, because it was just that fast. So yeah, and then it's funny you mentioned Zelda, because Nintendo also randomly announced a new Zelda game coming out this year.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I forgot about that. I'm excited for.
I am really excited for that. So it's a Hyrule Warriors sequel, or I don't know how it calls, but it's a Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So it's Hyrule Warriors based entirely in the Breath of the Wild, and it's a prequel to Breath of the Wild. It takes place 100 years before, and it shows the rise of Calamity Ganon, which is like mentioned in all the cutscenes in Breath of the Wild, but never actually like you get to play it now.
Excited for this.
And that works. So it looks so much better than Hyrule Warriors 1.
God, I can't talk either. The Hyrule Warriors 1 looked like garbage, I can't lie. I mean, it didn't look much better on the Wii U, Switch, and 3DS. They all looked like crap, but it was really fun.
Yes, and it looked like it was a Zelda everything. It didn't have a theme, it was just Zelda. Like, you've got your
everything.
Wind Waker art.
Wolfling.
Yeah, you have your Toon art. This looks like it ties a world in together. It makes sense in the world that there's big armies because it's like Hyrule versus the monsters and everything. It looks really good, and they're actually using like the assets and the world of Breath of the Wild. So yeah, I'm really down for that. That comes out in November.
Brandon and Zahi, what do you guys think about that? Do you care at all about this game, or do you even know what Hyrule Warriors is? Let's start there.
I wanted to play Hyrule Warriors when it came out, but I never got a chance because, again, never been a Nintendo product fan. Not fan, just never had like Nintendo products in general. But I'm thinking next year I really want to get a Switch, or at least for this Christmas.
There's so much stuff on the Switch, man.
I'm actually.
It'll change your life.
It's overwhelming.
There's so much stuff on it.
So I think with Hyrule Warriors coming out, and I saw the little teaser for it, or at least the banner that they had when they announced it. So I'm like, actually, that looks pretty interesting. I might want to try that out.
Yeah, check out the trailer. It's really well.
Brandon, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's probably the next thing I jump into on Switch after I'm done with Pokemon.
Yeah.
The thing with Hyrule Warriors, and this is like I played it on the Wii U when it came out because I was like, hey, it's a new Wii U game. Those come out every 5 years. I finished the base game, so I haven't even touched a DLC yet, and it's got tons of DLC, and I got to about 150 hours in that game.
I didn't even know it had DLC, to be honest.
Oh, it has tons of DLC, and it is dense. Like the base game, that was just. Do you remember it has that like Zelda 1 map and like every square is a challenge? I didn't play much of that, to
be honest.
Oh, I 100% finished, and I got A ranks in all of them, which is not very. Like, it's just you level up.
That gameplay style is very addicting because I played that one on the Wii U.
Yes.
Then I played the Fire Emblem Warriors on the Switch because that came out pretty close to the launch, and I played through that. I liked it. I played the Dragon Quest one. They have 1 and 2. Played the first one. I have the second. I haven't played it yet. And then they have it for, God, there was another series that I played it for that I really liked. Just taking that Dynasty Warriors thing and adding it to but the Dynasty Warriors games I hate. They're stupid. But when you put skins on it of games I like, all of a sudden it's fun. So
yeah, no, it is really like surprising.
So I don't know if you have anything else you want to add for the night before we close. I want to ask one question for us to ask to Brandon. So do you have anything else we want to cover?
I do. So we are doing a giveaway.
So maybe we should say this first.
Yeah, this big thing. So we're doing a giveaway. So we are giving away 4 copies of Rayman Legends. So Rayman Legends is a really fantastic 2D platformer. It came out a few years ago. So we're going to be announcing the giveaway and all the details tomorrow. So check back onto our Facebook at LinkCable2. Sorry, I had to look it up. I forgot what it was called. Twitter, LinkCable1. It'll all be announced together. And then we're also doing, we'll post it on linkcablegaming.com. We changed our name. So, yeah, we're giving away 4 copies of Rayman Legends because we like you guys. And wanted to give back. So, as a bit of a personal note, this is the first giveaway that's entirely funded by the website. No one put in any of their own money. So whatever ad revenues we have has allowed us to do this. And so we're kind of giving back because like, hey, we're growing and we wanted to give back to everyone. So thank you very much if you're listening. And if you listen later, thanks again. So make sure to like and subscribe, do all that stuff. It absolutely helps us grow. And yeah, so we're going to be giving away 4 copies of Rayman. If you're wondering why we chose Rayman, just a few days ago, September 9th was the 25th anniversary of the Rayman franchise. It was also the 25th anniversary of something called PlayStation, but who cares?
Didn't really notice.
No one's going to remember that after this generation.
It's funny.
So who cares?
Yeah. So my brother Jacob had to ruin the moment because I was like, hey, so I was thinking of doing this giveaway. We'll do Rayman. It's 25th anniversary and everything. He's like, technically it came out on Atari Jaguar like a few weeks ago, like 25 years ago. like before your date you're saying, and I was so mad at him because I was like, why are you pointing out that it came out on the Atari Jaguar, a console no one remembers except like me sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'd really like to play some Blue Lightning. That'd be fun.
Old.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're going to give it that giveaway. Full details will be tomorrow. But yeah, 4 copies of Rayman Legends. 2 are going to be on PS4. 2 of them are on PS4. 2 of them are on Xbox One.
Awesome.
So check back tomorrow. We'll have all the details.
Okay, so the last thing I want to do before we go. So Brandon, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you jumping in last minute, filling in. Sorry about all the crazy problems we've had. I promise this doesn't happen every week. Usually it's pretty smooth, but we've had a lot of changes going on, which is for the better, but it's gonna take a little while to get ironed out. But as he mentioned, all of us that he got a Switch recently, and he's been playing Pokemon. So I just want the rest of us to recommend maybe 1 or 2 Switch games that we think we should tell him to try out, just to give him our opinion on it. So Alex, you want to go first? Since Sahi, you may not have any because you don't have a Switch, but you can pretend.
All right, I can go first. So you're playing Pokemon. It's an RPG. You play MMOs. You like RPGs. I am going to recommend Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
He is obsessed with this game.
Yeah. So I think you might actually like it. So it's.
Do you know what Xenoblade is? Let's start there before you jump in. So hold your thought. Okay, have you ever played it before on the Wii or the 3DS? Okay, go Alex.
All right. So the reason I think, just from this conversation today, why I think you might like it is the combat system is kind of like a single-player MMO. It's a big open world. You have your quests you do. They're usually like, hey, you need to go kill 20 of these things and 5 of these things or collect these items. But the combat system it uses an arts system that is I found really similar to like vanilla WoW, where you have your arts at the bottom of the screen and you're kind of like cycling through them to get a good rotation going. So it's single player, so you're in control of one person and the AI controls the other 2 party members, but you can kind of, if you do a move that will break the enemy's defense, your AI partners can be set, and you can tweak their preferences, but they'll be set to then topple the enemy, and then you do more damage. So it does really feel like an MMO. It's a really, in terms of combat, it's a really well put together game, especially the definitive edition. So like Kevin said, it's also on Wii and 3DS. Those are old versions. Ignore them. They're the Switch remaster they just put out like back a few months ago really does a great job of explaining and walking you through the early parts of the game, whereas on the Wii, it is a pretty dense start to it all. So yeah, I really would recommend Xenoblade Chronicles.
Not to confuse you, Brandon, but there is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Switch also. Now, Alex, compare between the first and second one. Do you think the remake of the first one is a better place to start than the second one, or if he only plays one?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of like the Final Fantasy thing where they're called 1 and 2, but they have nothing to do with each other. They're just the games of that universe. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you got me going. Like, this is like, I don't know if you can see, I've got the Pyra statue back there, so I'm like super into Xenoblade. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a bit of a, like, they've switched up the combat system where they've tried to streamline it to, instead of having like 8 arts you can choose from, you have 4 and they level up every time. So it's almost rhythmic in your combat. So it's still the same setup, but you're doing it in like, you're almost trying to build a rhythm with your partner. That one's a lot harder to explain. So thanks, Kevin, for putting me on the spot to try to explain Xenoblade 2's combat system. Because I think Nintendo put out like a 20-minute video one time trying to explain this combat system.
I'll back you up to say I played a little bit of. I played the original Xenoblade on my 3DS, and I played the second one that's on Switch, and they go a little bit overwhelming. But if you are looking for a deep dive into an RPG, it is a fun one to play. So I can back you up there.
Right. So that's my recommendation. I would say Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Go for that one. If Xenoblade X ever gets ported from the Wii U, which I think it's like the last one that might, that's a good one to check out too. It's more of a spin-off, but it's good. And Xenoblade 2 is excellent, but I don't know if it's a great starting point.
Sounds good. Zahi, what do you think? What would be your recommendation here?
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
That was mine, Brad. That's what I was
really? Of all of them?
Damn it.
I forgot that existed.
That was my game of the year last year.
I picked Marvel. I picked Marvel Ultimate Alliance because I'm like Kevin's probably gonna say either Animal Crossing or Smash Bros, and that's what I was thinking for you
Damn,
two.
I
I'm
cannot
like
believe you
they're
picked
gonna
that.
get those two
All
covered.
right, I've
Yeah,
a new
man,
one
Marvel.
now.
I love
Okay.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, Brandon, have you ever played any
it's
of
a
those games,
game.
the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games before, or X-Men Legends games?
I had one of them. I think there was something like
Fantastic.
I love those games.
that I got into, and it was
So
I
good.
love it.
I got a chance to play it when I went over to my buddies. We played Smash, and then I'm like, oh, you have Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I want to play that.
God, it's so much fun.
And it was
Okay,
really
good
good.
recommendation. All right, well then,
All right, your
since
pick.
someone took mine, I will say I'll do a two.
wonder-
If you haven't played Dragon Quest XI before, the edition for Switch is very cool because you were able to play the game. I don't know. Have you ever played a Dragon Quest game before? I can't
No.
remember. Did you say you liked big JRPGs like that or didn't like them? I think you said you didn't.
Oh.
Okay.
No, I did. Like Final Fantasy. I
Okay.
got
So
into.
it's similar to Final Fantasy, but I love Dragon Quest games. I played a majority of them. I actually played this on the PS4 when it came out, but then the Switch version came out like a year and a half or 2 years later and added a 2D version where you just click a button, you switch between the two. And some of my friends are playing it right now. Like 3 of them are literally all playing at the same time. 2 of them just finished, one's finishing up. And to be able to switch between the 2 modes is so cool. And they've added new areas, new features, a whole different post-game stuff. So I'd highly recommend playing it on Switch. And you can play handheld, which is great. You just literally go sit on your patio, your porch, lay in bed on the couch, and you can just run around grinding or going through stuff. So that's pretty fun. And the other game I'd recommend that was a Switch exclusive for a while was Octopath Traveler. I played it when it was a Switch. I think it was a Switch exclusive. I don't think it was on PC till a little bit after. And now it's on Stadia too. So yay. But I really enjoyed playing Octopath Traveler. I played that quite a bit. It was at first I was like, this art style's not for me. I hate 2D games. Blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden I started playing, going, okay, this is really kind of neat. It's very artistic, but the gameplay is so much fun. The artisticness just adds to it. It doesn't take away from it. So that's my quick recommendations. So.
So for me, between Pokemon, Shadowlands, Real Life, I'm gonna put all of those off till next year, and I'll probably pick up both that Zelda game and Fire Emblem Warriors.
Fire Emblem Warriors is great.
Very
I tell
nice.
you, I would let you borrow mine, but I only have it digitally, so sucks. So never mind. Oh man.
Yeah.
No, thanks for the recommendation, guys. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I just posted it. I want to just my obscure gaming trivia of the day, I guess. So you mentioned Dragon Quest XI having the 2 like 3D and 2D modes. That's we never got it in North America. It only released in Japan, but Dragon Quest XI came out on 3DS over in Japan, and the top screen had the 3D gameplay and the bottom screen had the 2D gameplay, and they mirrored each other perfectly. And I thought that was a really cool idea.
That's
I
so
love
weird.
Dragon Quest games.
I just wanted to
That's
point
one of
that
my
out.
top favorite series. I literally just finished Dragon Quest 4, I think, and I have like 60 hours in it. I did that like beginning of quarantine. That was my little thing, and I just play Dragon Quest games, guys. They're just so good. So okay, Alex, get us out of here.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on episode 17. That does it for us for this week. So thanks for sticking by us while we work through the technical issues. We're got new technology running this thing. So as soon as we get it all ironed out, it should be a lot better. But thank you, Kevin, for keeping us running and getting us through the show. You did a great job there.
Thank you, Brandon, for coming and joining us on our team today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Brendan, for
Thanks for having
joining.
me, guys. If you ever need another host, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, make sure to like and subscribe. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, all the cool places. We've got that contest, so check back tomorrow. I'll make sure it's posted on all our social medias. So you can possibly win a copy of Rayman Legends. I've got the nice bubble wrap ready to send it out too, so you'll get it perfectly. So we'll be back next Sunday. We started a bit late this week. Hopefully we'll aim for our normal 7 a.m.
Shit, bro, what are we doing?
We're not, yeah. Welcome to our 7 a.m. podcast. No, our 7 p.m. Time slot. So we'll be back next week. But until then, thank you very much, and have a great
guys,
week.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you, everyone.